A considerable portion of my anti-aging lifestyle is definitely related to nutrition and dietary strategies. I'm a firm believer that nutrition plays a significant role in the manifestation of your body and how it looks, how it moves throughout time and space. And I'm just a firm believer in just eating healthy, and that's what I show here on this channel. But with that comes some criticism, but also some questions. Do I have cheat meals? Do I have cheat days where I'm not eating the way that I'm showing you on YouTube here or on my social media channels just out in the internet world? So for me personally, I have a history of disordered eating in my teens, and it really led to a realization of sort of how pernicious and pervasive a diet culture is. And it really made me think recently when I started making this video and really outlining it. I started really thinking about these questions I get about cheat meals, cheat foods. A lot of people ask me this on my TikTok, on my YouTube, on my Instagram, if I do sort of cheat on my anti-aging diet. So first and foremost, when I talk about an anti-aging diet, I have to say that when I focus on skin health, on longevity, I am talking about a diet that is devoid of sugar, refined sugars. From fruit is okay, but usually just like refined sugars, processed foods, junk foods, if you will. I do not consume these 90 to 95% of the time, and I'll get into that in just a minute. But this is sort of, how I consume things. More of like a paleo type diet, not so much keto or carnivore, but paleo with a focus on a lot of plant foods, but also animal-based foods that have, good carotenoids and other vitamins and minerals and antioxidants that are good for the skin as well as the overall body. But getting back to my history, of disordered eating, it really made me think about, making this video, how these terms cheat foods and cheat days can really fuel a lot of anxiety, can fuel a lot of guilt around food, and also just, provide a lot of people stress, because whenever we put ourselves underneath this, I guess, strict regimen, whether it's diet or exercise or anything, work or whatever it is regarding our lifestyle, we box ourselves in, and whenever we get outside of that box and we move beyond the confines of that box, it does bring up those feelings of stress, anxiety, guilt. None of these feelings or emotions are beneficial for anti-aging. Part of anti-aging, not just nutrition, is reducing stress and anxiety levels, because that plays a huge role in the aging of the skin, of the hair, as well as just like the body overall, like internally on a cellular level. So having these feelings is just not helpful. And when you impose a strict diet on yourself and you consider, foods, cheat foods or cheat meals, that can lead to a lot of negative emotions, which are not good for your health and not good for your longevity or anti-aging strategies or goals over time. And also, I think it can play into the disordered eating mentality, which is, of course, not healthy. Like I was mentioning earlier, the way I approach my diet for anti-aging purposes is avoiding sugar, avoiding grains for the most part, and not really sort of avoiding them, but replacing them with more nutrient-dense foods. So this is sort of like the mentality that I'm in, trying to reduce the terminology I use, like cheat foods or avoidance behaviors, really thinking about replacing and switching out with more nutrient-dense options. And it's more so of a paleo diet which is low in refined carbohydrates. Because those carbohydrates, the sugar, can lead to glycation, can lead to oxidative stress and inflammation in the skin, or inflammaging as it's so termed. And so I try to really reduce my consumption of foods that are pretty much devoid of nutrients and that aren't going to really serve me or be beneficial for my body overall. And sort of that's how I approach my diet. And really, I see food as nourishment, not only for my energy, but also for my skin, for my hair, for my eyes, and my health overall. I think that's really important to just reorient your mind toward a more positive aspect and view of food, not seeing it as the enemy or as a demon that you have to control, but really something that you can sort of modify to and enhance to optimize your health, your longevity, and your anti-aging goals. And for me, these choices, I I think like maybe in 2010, I went completely paleo. I cut out all grains, which means like, rice, wheat, pasta, bread, cakes, cookies, etc. All refined sugar. And when that happened, my energy dropped dramatically. I remember the day that I stopped eating. I went completely paleo, and I was in a play. I was in Macbeth and I was playing one of the witches, surprise, surprise. And it was really interesting how I was able to navigate that. But over time, my body became accustomed to that way of eating. And I feel like I have more energy overall and more vitality and youthfulness overall from eating that way. And I also believe it plays into my anti-aging results personally. And today, it really does fit into my overall lifestyle. And I don't even think about it. The way I eat, I don't even try to eat this way. It's just a natural way of eating, and it's not associated with any feelings of anxiety or strict regime that I follow this strict regimen and schedule of how to eat. It really is pretty easy for me, and I don't even think about it. So I'm very lucky in that regard that I can eat in a very nourishing way and really nourish my body with good healthy foods most of the time, 90 to 95% of the time. Again, I'll get into those percentages in just a minute, to really just fuel my energy, my vitality, and my youth. Now, like I was saying, I eat this way. I eat a healthy anti-aging diet, if you will, 90 to 95% of the time. I know there's the rule, the 80-20 rule, where you do something 80% of the time so you can do the other thing 20% of the time. For instance, you can eat a healthy paleo or vegan or whatever way 80% of the time, and then have 20% of the time eating whatever you want. I tend to do a little bit higher in the 80%. I do 90 to 95%, and 5 to 10% of the time I will definitely venture out of my diet and my lifestyle in at least in the dietary regard. The other day my dad was here and we went out for pizza. So that was one thing that we did. We got Detroit style pizza, and that's not something that we normally do. Jacob and I don't eat pizza that often, maybe like once a quarter. So like maybe 2 to 4 times a year, if that. It is good. I enjoy pizza. It is delicious, but it certainly isn't great for your insulin, for your blood sugar levels, for your skin, etc. It's not the most nourishing food, other than providing maybe a good source of protein from all the cheese, but then the cheese has the advanced glycation end products. That being said, I didn't feel guilty when I ate the pizza. And sometimes we'll get tacos or we'll make burgers on the grill, and I may or may not have a bun those days, or we'll have like sweet potato fries in the oven. These aren't necessarily healthy foods, but they are, I would argue, maybe healthier options than something like fast food burgers and fries. And for me, 95 to 10% of the time of the unhealthy foods that I eat are really processed foods or junk foods that are healthier options. For instance, instead of like eating Oreos, I'll have the Catalina Crunch sandwich cookies. And these are made not from grains, but from pea protein flour, as well as allulose sweetener, and maybe I think like stevia or monk fruit sweetener. So it's like super, super low in sugar. I think 1 gram of sugar per cookie, also high in protein and fiber. So it's like a healthier option compared with like the name brand cookies. And sort of that's how I approach sort of my like 5 to 10% of the time is, I'll swap out the unhealthy name brand stuff and go with something that's like a healthier option, or a healthier option made with like less refined ingredients, less sugar, if any sugar at all, and something that is, organic and close to nature as possible. And also included in that 5 to 10% of the time is, things like maybe we'll buy chips and have chips and salsa or guacamole or things like that. So it really is for me about creating a balance, but making sure that I'm following my lifestyle naturally, not forcing anything, but really finding a good balance for me, something that works for me and that I enjoy. Personally, I enjoy eating healthy. I enjoy healthy foods. I think I've always liked vegetables. I've always liked eating healthy ever since I was little. So it's never been a challenge for me. It's always been pretty easy. And I've always really liked not only just the aspect of eating healthy, but also the results and the feelings that you get from being healthy because you're taking care of yourself. That being said, again, I will enjoy something, unhealthy, but I don't categorize it or classify it as a cheat food or a cheat meal, just because I don't like to think of myself as cheating on anything, or cheating on my diet or letting myself down in any way. I don't want to put myself in any sort of negative emotional state, because I do believe that stress, that anxiety, increases cortisol levels, which is like an aging hormone. It leads to a lot of, negative deleterious effects in just your mind, not only your mindset and your emotions, but also your body as well. So, and your skin. There are research studies suggesting that anxiety, stress does have a key role in the pathogenesis and the pathophysiology of the visible signs of aging. So trying to do what I can to ensure a balance that works for me. And, a 90 to 95% of the time, healthy eating might not be the percentage that works for you. You might prefer an 80-20 rule, which is like the most common and probably the most, I would say, adherent rule that people can adhere to for the most part, like in the general population. For me, I find that 90 to 95% of the time works just as well. And that being said, the 5 to 10% of the time, if I might have bread at, I've given you plenty of examples, but I might have bread at the table at a restaurant or something like that. But it never includes, very rarely does it include sugar. I just don't eat sugar. I feel like it has no nutrients, at least in like the bread. I'm getting some maybe complex carbs if it's like a whole grain, like rustic whole grain crusty bread with olive oil, because I can dip it in olive oil and get that antioxidants and the monounsaturated fats in that. And I think it's just so delicious. But in sugar, I'm not getting anything and I have no desire to eat it. So for like sugary sweet desserts or things like that, I tend to either make things on my own, or I'll get, something like the Catalina Crunch cookies or cereal, something that's sweet, but is sweetened with monk fruit and stevia and maybe allulose sweetener, something like that I can really find a good balance. Do you want to be included? Do you want to give your perspective of how I eat in this video, Jacob? So I have Jacob here, and there he is. So he's my partner, and we live together. And everybody asked if he follows the same anti-aging diet as I do. And do you follow the same anti-aging, like, dietary strategy as I do?
No, but you definitely make me eat healthier.
But you also enjoy it, right?
Eating healthy?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I'm not as strict as you. I'm probably more in the 80-20 camp, but I do like eating healthy.
Yeah, and we like cook mostly all of our meals here at home. Like a lot of our meals are made from whole foods, and we don't really eat out a lot, I guess. But I mean, we had Indian the other day, but I consider that healthier because I use, cauliflower rice instead of regular rice. And it has like the spices like turmeric and all that jazz. What about sugar? What are your thoughts on sugar?
I love sugar.
So we can still like co-inhabit, is that the word term?
Yeah.
We can
I
still
don't eat a lot of sugar. I feel like I eat a lot of sugar alternate sweets.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely probably cut down since you know me.
Yeah.
You definitely know like the,
But
I guess.
I can't eat like 95% chocolate.
Yeah, I do eat 95 to 100% chocolate, and that's what I like the most. Okay, thank you for your perspectives. So yeah, a lot of people ask if he eats the same way, and he does definitely eat better, but he has a more like 80-20 general population type lifestyle, and that's definitely okay. And we're able to like I said, co-inhabit and just like make things work for us. We don't do breakfast or lunch together, but we do always do dinner together, and we can always compromise on that.
As soon as I filmed that, I went and got some Smart Sweets.
Oh yeah, so these are actually
New flavor. Pick them up at Target. So good.
I actually haven't had these. So it has 6 grams of fiber, only 3 grams of sugar for the entire bag. The only thing is it has 40 grams of carbohydrates. Where's that coming from?
Taste test?
No, I don't want one right now, but I do want there are the peach rings that are actually really good, and those like have little sugar. Oh, it's sweetened with stevia. It's sweetened with isomalto. Maybe that's where the carbohydrates are coming from. I don't know. So I really encourage people to look at just overall dietary patterns. Look at the big picture. Don't focus on the minute details of your cheat foods or your cheat meals, because that's just not going to lead to a lot of like happy, positive emotions, and you're going to just be focusing on that when you should just be focusing on the overall patterns rather than just like the individual food choices that you make and that you beat yourself up over. Don't beat yourself up over it. Just be, balanced in your approach. That's sort of how I see it. That's how Jacob sees it. That's how I feel like a lot of people see it. And for anti-aging purposes, I think that the healthiest way to go about eating is to find a way that works for you, that you enjoy. Definitely incorporate healthier foods, healthier options that provide nourishment for your body, for your skin, various aspects of your health overall. but also just find a overall pattern or strategy that works for you. Let me know down below in the comment section how you view cheat foods or unhealthy foods. How do you see it? How do you communicate it to other people? What is your anti-aging dietary strategy like? I'm always looking to incorporate new strategies and interventions and ways of doing things into my own lifestyle and seeing how it works. So definitely share with me in the comments down below. I know other people will definitely, want to look at those comments and learn from other people as well. If you like this video, please hit that like button down below. I'd really appreciate it. And definitely subscribe if you haven't already. I post anti-aging videos here every single week, several times a week. I'm always here for you to help you and to just maybe provide you some entertainment. So yeah, definitely subscribe. I would love to have you here. And until the next video, I hope you have a good one. Thanks for watching. Bye.